All right, hello everybody. My name is Seth Myers. I am the marketing manager here at Excelsis Solutions. Excelsis, we are gold partner with Oracle and helping host this meeting today. With us on the phone, we have a few people to help present. We have Danny Draper, the CRM sales manager here. Followed by him will be Dirk Shoup, the senior sales consultant at Oracle, to go over some of the Fusion CRM features. Of course, talking about how it works with JDE as well. We'll be followed by Ryan Brewer to go over that. He is the CRM practice director here. And of course, after that, we have a reference customer, Diane Doherty, at Quest International, to go over or explain how that's worked for them. Of course, at the end of this today will be a question and answer. On the box up in the corner of your screen, there should be a chat feature where you can submit your questions in there, and we will answer those at the end of this webinar. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and go to Danny, which I believe. Right, Danny, are you there?
I am here. Thank you. I'm unmuted now. So appreciate that, Seth, and appreciate everybody's attendance today as well. Just a quick introduction on Excelsis Solutions. As Seth mentioned, we are gold partners with Oracle, and we focus exclusively and specifically on the Oracle CRM tool. We have decided as a company to put our focus on where Oracle is at and the progress they've made with Fusion CRM. And we've been working with the Oracle CRM tools now for, I think, 8 years is Ryan's experience now with Oracle. So, and our staff here at Excelsis is experts in the CRM tool, and look forward to working with you as we make some progress on explaining the different needs and features of the Fusion CRM. So, with that, some of the different products, go ahead and go to that next slide there, Seth. So some of our different product focus with the Oracle tools is most specifically on the Fusion CRM. We offer different approaches and implementation. We do provide fixed fee contracts that I know that most customers appreciate and enjoy, with knowing and understanding what the cost of the project will be from the beginning. We also offer a lot of integrations. Most of the projects that we've worked on and the Oracle CRM tools have dealt with integrations. Most of those are with the JD Edwards tool. We've also done EBS as well as other unique ERP systems. We have a great development team here at Excelsis to focus in on the development processes that you would need for any customization on your particular CRM tool. We also offer support for the CRM on demand right now in Oracle Marketing. But today we want to focus specifically on the Fusion CRM as well as the integrations into JD Edwards. Later in the presentation today, you'll have the chance to hear from Ryan Brewer, who will explain the integration process and our methodology there as well. And we can answer any questions at the end about our implementation approach. So with that, we will go ahead and jump right into the demo of Fusion CRM and turn the time over to Dirk Shoup, the Senior Sales Consultant at Oracle.
Good morning, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm going to take a quick look at our Oracle Cloud applications. It's kind of previously known as Fusion CRM. But if I use them interchangeably today, it's because of the exact same thing. As we look at the application, we'll notice that there are a couple of ways to view the same information in a single location. And what Oracle's tried to do is really allow your users to work with the interface that makes the most sense to them. So for some, it's going to be an iPhone or an Android device. For others, it's going to be a tablet. Some people like the desktop or Microsoft Outlook. I think I'm just going to share my desktop here. You guys see my desktop?
Yeah, we can see your desktop, Dirk.
Okay, thanks. So your users have the ability to log in and view really any information that they want in the device that makes the most sense to them. So what we're going to do today is sort of walk through kind of a day in the life of a traditional sales user. When a user wakes up in the morning, they may be prone to open up Microsoft Outlook and really jump right into their day. That may start with calendaring, so being able to see very quickly that they have an appointment coming up today at 1 o'clock. What you'll notice when we look at this Microsoft Outlook view is that it's exactly what users are familiar with. It's got the same calendaring, it's got the same folder structure, but there are a couple of additions. The ability to create new contacts and new customers, to create or associate leads and opportunities to those contacts and customers. So without really changing how a user works inside of Outlook today, we've extended the Fusion CRM capabilities directly inside of the application. And what's really important about this is that because it is using the same exact interface that users are already familiar with, the learning curve is almost zero. So it allows users to come in and do the things that they do, manage their calendar, create to-dos and appointments. They can read emails. So if we notice we have a simple email that's come into the system, and I can double-click on that. And in doing so, really the only thing you notice that changed is there's this orange bar up here. So what now happens is, as a user, I manage my emails like I always have. I send emails, I receive emails, and I can associate these emails directly to customers or to opportunities or projects or leads that are being worked without any real extra effort. Again, user adoption goes up, data quality gets enhanced, and users are more likely to contribute to the team by sharing this information because they don't have to put any extra effort into it. So by sharing this information, the system can recognize certain attributes. So based on the email address, it can recognize that it's associated to specific contacts or specific customers. We allow for typing technology within the system. So if I wanted to change this, all I need to do is just start to type, and it will allow me to automatically view this information and make the correct associations. I can quickly add contacts if I want to. I'll associate John Baker. Oh, maybe I won't. Maybe I don't own him. With that little pop-up window, it didn't let me because I don't own that record. And it's just another way that the application actually honors the business rules that you've defined as an organization to keep your users following the processes that you've defined while still giving them flexibility to use the applications that they would choose. So with this email, I can quickly open up the customer record and view that. I can also open up the opportunity detail. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on Green Server Update. And it creates just a little pop-up window here that we noticed that allows us to see the same information that we would be viewing if we were looking at it on our mobile device or inside of the traditional browser view, to come in and edit this information. And again, nothing's really changed with Outlook. So we still have the same ribbon up here to do all of the things we're already familiar with, but we have added a couple of extra components right here. So with the ability to send emails to contacts or the sales team to schedule an appointment. And in doing that, what will happen is it would just pull in the proper email addresses for the contacts or for your internal team so that users don't have to go out and find them. Again, data quality goes up. Your users add the right people to the right meetings, and it makes their life very simple. Managing and viewing the opportunity information in a standard format. So we can enforce your standard sales methodologies or allow you to create and define new ones within the system. Standard sales processes, and users are able to then go in and automatically make changes to these attributes. And when they do so, that information is synced back to the cloud servers, and so everybody has access to information in real time. Go ahead and cancel this. So in saving this email, all I need to do is just make sure it's highlighted orange. If I didn't want to share it, I can simply deselect that, and it's no longer shared with the system. We'll just make a quick save, and then we're done. So it's very easy for your users to access the information that's important to them and make changes that are important to their business. One other simple change that we've made in the system is the ability for your users to come in and have additional folders of information. So they can view all of their opportunities, all of their leads, contacts, and customers. And again, nothing's really changed in their world. So if we open up opportunities, very easy to see this information. And because it is Microsoft Outlook, we're using all of the Microsoft Outlook tools. So your users can filter this information. They can highlight certain attributes. So for example, if it's maybe the revenue is 0, it can be highlighted in red. Really, users can leverage Microsoft Outlook to the fullest extent. Another thing that's pretty common in a traditional implementation is exposing reports and some of that business intelligence directly within the application. So we support that too within the Microsoft Outlook framework. In a traditional kind of day in the life of a sales rep, one of the things that they will do is ultimately log into the browser application. In doing that, you can define content that's being pushed out to your users to make sure they're on top of events that are happening within your organization. So for example, you can publish very simple notes up here and events that are going on within your world. Maybe it's a marketing event, maybe it's there's new leadership within your organization, you want to make announcements to that. You can share information very easily inside of here. On the right side, what we've done is just created very simple buttons that allow your users to get to the area of the application that is the most important event at that moment. One of those common areas is schedule. What do I need to do today? So when we open up the schedule, what we see is your users have the ability to very quickly I was asked to answer a quick chat question. So let me see how I see that chat question, and I'd be happy to answer it.
Yeah, hey Dirk, this is Seth here. I was monitoring those questions, and if you'd like to go ahead and keep continuing, and we'll field all those questions for your portion when you're done. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that's easy. Okay, so I appreciate that. If there are questions, I'm happy to answer them now, or we can wait till the end, so whatever's the easiest. So what we've done is we've really tried to make this user interface kind of a zero training user interface. And as we look at the application here, what you're going to see is it's extremely intuitive. You're going to be able to look at the big buttons, the colors, and automatically identify what's going on kind of in the world. So very commonly, users want to look at their schedule. What's important here is that the calendar that we saw in Microsoft Outlook a moment ago is the same calendar that we'll see inside of the browser and the same calendar that we would see inside of our mobile device. So once you create an appointment in any of those places, you're going to see the same exact appointment represented across all of the different mediums that you can access the information. When you share that information with your team, the right people are getting alerted at the right time so that they can take the appropriate action. Maybe an opportunity is moved through to a negotiation stage and legal needs to get involved. So we can automatically notify legal, for example, that information is now ready, and then they can go in and take the appropriate actions. So we can by sharing that information across the organization, there's a lack of redundancy in emails that are being sent out, the data quality is going up. So a lot of good things start to happen. So if we open up our schedule, what we'll see is very quickly we can see we got a couple of things going on. We have a green technology customer presentation coming up today. And looking at that information, really very representative of what you would expect. Traditional calendars, start dates, end times, descriptive information and attachments. Who's participating in this particular event? So this would be a combination of both internal employees supporting you on this meeting, as well as customer recipients that are going to be joining you at that meeting. Down below, we can see who it's tied to. So we know the organization that we're working with, the Pinnacle Technologies, and who their primary contact is. We also know the deal that we're working on. So there's a lot of associations that are being tied together within the application. And so when you want to, you can drill into the right spot to learn more, right? We could drill into the organization to learn more about the company that we're about to visit with, or drill directly into the contact to learn more about the person that we're going to work with. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. And let's just look at some contact type information. So managing the people that we work with. What's very powerful within the Oracle Cloud is that users can define what's important to them. So very easily identify lists of people that they work with. So rather than the 5,000 contacts that they have access to, maybe it's just 40 that they work with day in and day out. So users can quickly filter that information, identify who are their key contacts. So Joshua Baker at Pinnacle Technologies is a key contact, and we want to learn more about him. So we can easily open up his record and view the obvious information. What I think is really powerful about this is just the big buttons and the big colors. It jumps out at your users, and it's sort of dumbed down in a way because it's just so obvious that the users really bought into this, and user adoption for the Oracle Cloud is extremely high. Very access to map information, so where's your person located at? Quick overview of open opportunities and leads that you're working with the person, and then recent interactions. What have we done lately? So we've had an outbound phone call, we've had an outbound presentation, we've emails. So we can open up and drill into these and view that detail that we saw a moment ago when we looked at the schedule, right? The opportunity it's associated with, or the lead, the participants in that particular meeting or on the email string. And when that information is being shared, again, everybody has access to it. So if you have attrition in your organization, or you're hiring, you're growing and you're hiring new people, it's very easy for anybody with access to the system to view that information. With that said, there's also a lot of security within the application to make sure that the right people have access to the right information, and those that don't have access can't see it. So we definitely have roles and permissions-based securities inside of the Oracle Sales Cloud to control who can access and interact with that information. So that's kind of the basics there, and we can view even more detail about them. Opening up his record, we'll be able to see a little more about Joshua himself, and then on the left, these little nodes that allow us access to information around nodes and tasks, other appointments, and interactions that have taken place. What I should have mentioned is that within that record that we were just looking at, we offer a tool set available to your business analysts and administrators that allow them to modify the application, to really go in and add different attributes that are important, create data sets that are relevant to you. If we open up some customer type views, let me just open up Pinnacle Technologies. Because you're the JD Edwards customers and you're focusing on that information, we certainly do all of the CRM things that you would expect to, right? Tracking leads and opportunities, customer revenues, what deals have closed recently, and then when we open this up, we can allow very easy integration into JD Edwards to allow you to tie this organization to the right bill to or ship to within JDE. So creating a custom attribute here for example, a JD Edwards address book number. Or a very common request is being able to expose information that resides inside of JD Edwards for your customers that maybe sales reps don't have access to because either they don't have a license to JD Edwards to log in, or you simply generally haven't trained them to log into JD Edwards because they don't always need to. And so what we've seen with a lot of customers is wanting to expose information that's relevant to the sales users that truly does empower them to be more successful and to grow their respective business, but without forcing them to go in and navigate through JD Edwards, which sometimes isn't intuitive for a sales rep. So with that said, what we can allow is you to create custom attributes, for example, exposing credit status. So if a customer's on credit hold, maybe you can't create a new opportunity against that customer. Or exposing open AR numbers so that when a sales rep is going out to work with a customer, rather than talking about the next big deal, talking about how to get that customer whole within JD Edwards, get them up to date so that then they can move forward with negotiating the next big thing. So very easy for you to expose those custom JD Edwards attributes inside of the application at Excellis truly experts at that and can support you in defining what information is relevant to your sales users while in the field and how best to expose that information. And I think it's a combination of both custom attributes like address, book number, or credit status information. For example, it's integration into sales orders and being able to expose sales order detail to your users so that they can see where sales orders are at, history of previous purchases and transactions. And Excelsis can really help you define what that looks like and how to best go about bringing that information in. For some customers, it's simple reporting. And we have a very robust set of tools that allow you to report over a combination of traditional CRM data and JD Edwards-centric data. And we do that all within inside of the application. When we're looking at customer information here, for example, at Clinical Technologies, being able to very easily view then who are the contacts associated to it and the sales team that you're working with. So when we look at the sales team, what's nice about this is you can see who in the organization is there to support you, and you can control access to the information. So, for example, Alex Smith right now has full access, but maybe we want him to be able to only view that data. So as the owner of the record, of the customer record, or the owner of the opportunity, users have the ability to add people to their team and then be able to control what they can do with that information. Under the covers, something we're not going to show today, but more than happy to talk about it, is a very powerful tool set around territory management. And so as organizations define their territories, historically, territories have been limited to geography, and that's just been based on kind of the CRM tool sets. Oracle spent a lot of time and a lot of money over the last several years to create a territory management solution within the Oracle Sales Cloud that allows organizations like yourself to define a very complex territory. And by complex territory, I mean you can have multiple dimensions associated with that territory. It could be geography, city, state, zip code, this side of the river. It could be product specific. So it may be products or services. It may be software, hardware. It doesn't really matter what that is. The ability to then define those territories based on customer revenues, customer industries, and in doing so, in setting up those territories and defining that, what happens is users can automatically be associated to customer records, for example, Clinical Technologies, based on attributes specific to Pinnacle, right? The industry they're in, the geography they're in, the size of their organization. All of those attributes can be used to define those territories and then assign the appropriate sales team. The same thing can happen at leads and opportunities. So based on those attributes, automatically assigning the right people to the right object, lead or opportunity, customer, contact. It really, again, helps give visibility to the right people and control that visibility from being available to the wrong people. Also available here then is, of course, the opportunities associated to it and the leads associated to it. Again, we've gone to great lengths to make this user interface as easy and intuitive as possible. And in doing so, just some quick color coding, right? Is it a hot lead? Is it a warm lead? Is it a cold lead? And then giving your users the ability to drill into these. Leads are being fed into the system automatically from our Oracle Marketing Cloud, or users can, of course, create them manually and manage them directly within the system. One of the most important parts of this is being able to manage your pipeline effectively. So when a user opens up, just kind of clicking on this opportunity tab, again, very easy to see what's going on. So kind of a simplified version of red light, green light. So green obviously is good, yellow is okay, green or yellow, red still got some work to be done. So it's easier for users to see what's going on and then drill into those attributes. Down below, we can expose information that's being presented up here from our quota management and our incentive compensation to give users ideas of where they're at in their year, right? So in this guy, 130% of his quota, which is fantastic. Year-to-date revenues or quarter-to-date, I guess, revenues at $2.6 million. So exposing information to your users is relevant to them and it's a place that's important to them. So we can open up this green server opportunity that we saw in the email string, and that we know we have an appointment to work today. We can see all of the relevant information, right? The probability percentage, sales methodology, presentation stage. You have the tools available within the Oracle Sales Cloud to define your own sales methodologies. And then within each of those, the stages that are associated. And as you move through this information, we can tie business rules to it so that, for example, at the presentation stage, it's 50% probability. When we move to negotiation, it moves it to 100% probability. Whatever the numbers are, we can help you enforce those business rules. Because a lot of you on the call are JD Edwards customers, one of the things that the Oracle Sales Cloud has that I think is relevant to you is we have a very robust product catalog inside of the application. So with some CRM solutions, you're forced to kind of recategorize your products and product groups based on system constraints that the CRM solution had in the past, or that some of our competitive solutions do still have. Within the Oracle Sales Cloud, we have a very deep product and item tool set to allow you to then effectively map your JD Edwards address, or not address, but item master inside of the Oracle Sales Cloud, so that users can create opportunities and leads based on your product catalog. And in doing that, it really helps your users to stay up to date on changes that are being made to the product catalog. Excellis can help you to synchronize that so that you're not duplicating efforts in how you go about implementing those products in this catalog. So there's a lot of power in that tool set, and again, you don't have to redefine it unless you want to. You can expose it exactly as it is inside of JDE. So again, a lot of power in that. And then from here, we can go ahead, close out the opportunity. We can view more information, details, all of the same thing that we saw at the customer level, right? The contacts associated to it, the sales team, appointments, and conversations. So a lot of information shared very easily with your users. One of the last things I want to show in the browser user interface is our ability to collaborate with users. So with the Oracle Sales Cloud comes Oracle Social Network. And this is a very powerful tool set to allow users to collaborate across the organization. I'm going to click on social here. And we were just looking at the green server upgrade opportunity. And we can see we have conversations. So social network is very prevalent. We're all familiar with LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. Oracle Social Network is kind of a similar concept in that it allows you to share relevant information with groups of people, with your entire organization, to have small, defined, controlled conversations with only a couple of people, and sharing documentation. So rather than what is traditionally the case, sending a spreadsheet back and forth across multiple emails or PowerPoint presentations so that people can annotate and mock up a presentation to get it right. That information can be shared and viewed inside of Oracle Social Network. So when I open up this simple conversation, we can see very easily who is a part of the conversation. I'm going to open up a different one. So we can see who's a part of this conversation. Lisa Jones and then members from her team are allowed to access this information and interact with her. So she asks a very simple question. Please review the pricing agreement. She's associated that pricing agreement here. So when I click on it, it'll actually open up the document. And then we have a tool set to go in and be able to annotate this information. So she can come in and type a note here and then post that note to maybe request a change in the language. If it was a PowerPoint presentation, you can view that PowerPoint or an Excel spreadsheet and start to mock up these documents. Once any of these changes are made, it just simply needs to be published. And in publishing it, then it makes that new change available to all the users, and it keeps the old document. So a little bit of version control. So we see, version 1, 2, 3 directly inside of the application. So it's a very easy way for your users to create and share conversations. What's nice about these conversations is that they can be specific to an organization that you're working with, a product that you work with, an opportunity or a deal that you're working on, really you can have a conversation about just about anything and add the appropriate people to those conversations when you want to. So Oracle Social Network is just an embedded part of the application. There's no additional licensing for it, and a very powerful tool set to allow your users to interact with each other. We view this social piece inside of the traditional browser, but with it comes a tie to Microsoft Outlook. So there's an Outlook panel that's a part of it. There's a iPhone, an Android, an iPad application available to your users that can be downloaded from Google Play or the iTunes Apple Store. And your users can access that information very quickly. So it's nice that users can be pushed information via Oracle Social Network as information becomes available to them and as it's relevant to them. So users can subscribe to information or they can unsubscribe so they don't have to deal with it. So a very powerful way to look at that information. Kind of the last thing that I want to review today is how a user would access information on the road. So we have available today iPhone application, a BlackBerry application, an Android application, and then tablet-specific applications. So what we're looking at today could be very easily viewed and accessed on a tablet. It renders perfectly on a kind of a tablet-type resolution. We also have tablet-specific applications. So what I want to show now is an application that we call Fusion Tab, which is designed for an iPad application. So let me share that with you now. Just a quick moment. For some reason my Wi-Fi decided to kick off. So we're looking at kind of a live view of my iPad here. So from an iPad-specific application, Oracle's gone to great lengths to leverage, in this case, iPad-type functionality. I could be doing the same thing with my iPhone or my Android device, but really taking advantage of the form factor, right? Which again, because users are becoming much more familiar and comfortable with the touch-type devices, we've really designed this to be touch-friendly. So I'm logged in as Gretchen Adams. I'm kind of using a combination of my fingers and my mouse. I'm logged in as Gretchen Adams. So I'll go ahead and view Gretchen's information. So we can view, I'm logged in as Gretchen. I can view the information available to me. I can a little bit about my profile. I can see, my work history and stuff that's relevant to the users. Gretchen is the Vice President of North American Sales, so she can start to look at the organization and see what's going on and who are her reports. So she can see who reports to her, and then really open up details about a specific employee. So starting to view people that are reporting up to her and working with her within her realm. And then being able to see who reports up to Bob Boyle, a sales manager, opportunities that roll up under him, performance, goals, things like that. So from a management perspective, Fusion Tab is a really great tool. From an end-user sales rep perspective, we'll be able to leverage almost the exact same information, looking at opportunities that we're working on and accounts that we're working. So if we open up accounts, we can see very quickly the ability to search for accounts that we want to work with. So I just quickly searched for Pinnacle Technologies and it pulled up the appropriate account. So like we saw in the Outlook view, like we saw in the browser view, the right information is being shared with your users in an interface that is familiar and easy to use. So all of that standard information that we saw, customer phone number and address is all here. And then to the left here, we have the activities associated with that organization, any opportunities and contacts that we're working with, who within our organization is supporting them, and then things like notes. If we were to open opportunities, we can easily see opportunities that have been worked in the past that are still opened or potentially closed. I'll just open up a deal here just to kind of give us a flavor of what that would look like. So when we open up a deal, all this information is available for users to view and interact with. So looking at this opportunity, we can see the revenue line items, activities, notes, contacts, sales teams, the same thing we saw. But we also have the ability to open up attachments. So because we're on an iPad and it renders things like PowerPoint presentations, Word documents very well, we've made those available to your users directly within the application. Users can come in and click on actions and create notes or appointments, tasks, or interactions. They can open up a conversation. So like we saw a moment ago with Oracle Social Network, we can open up a conversation here, and in doing so, it would simply open up the iPad application for Oracle Social Network. We also have the ability to edit this information. So I clicked on edit. I say that only because you can't see me do it. And now users can come in and make changes to the application. So being able to update information like forecast information. Do we want to forecast this particular deal? We can change currency because we've designed the application to be multi-language, multi-currency. We can create an opportunity in the yen that is being forecast in the US dollar, split it between the euro and the dollar. So we're truly multi-currency, and that extends to the individual line items that we're quoting. So again, for global organizations, that becomes very important, and we support that directly within the tool set. So users can come in and edit this information, save any changes they make, and then by saving those changes, that information is automatically synchronized to the server, so we can look at real-time information. Currently, there is some offline capabilities here, and those offline capabilities get even stronger in our next release. And I forgot to mention, but now's a good time, inside of Microsoft Outlook, it is also available to your users offline. So if they're not connected to the internet, they can still interact with that information, make changes to that information, and then upon their next synchronization, save those changes. One of the most powerful things about the mobile applications, I think, from a management perspective especially, and even from an end user, is the ability to look at analytics, the ability to come in and view what's going on in our world, deals closed and forecast, so we can see specific pipeline information. We can scroll through and look at more. Being able to provide key performance indicators to users to let them know how close are they to targets that you've set for them. So there's only 10% left of this goal, right? They've already closed 18, the goal was 20, so we know that we're very close to that. From a management perspective, being able to look at, what's your team doing? So we're at 38% away from total attainment for this particular deal, and then we can come in and look at some of those numbers. So we can kind of scroll through. I'm just tapping this little button on the right, looking at the team, individual attainment, and letting the system tell us that, hey, Julian Henderson's really struggling, and letting us as a manager take proactive action to identify, what can we do to help him out. Is his territory wrong? And if so, maybe we need to reevaluate how the territory allocations are broken up inside of the territory management tool. Maybe he needs training. Whatever it is, we can start to kind of dive into that. And then, year-to-date attainment, and then targets. So just, again, very easily telling your users what is their goal, where are they at against their goal, where's the team against it, and then being able to share this information outside. So because it is an iPad, what's powerful here is that we're using all of the standard iPad stuff, or iPhone or Android things like the phone capability, the calendaring synchronization, contact synchronization, emails. So I can click on send this email. I can just send a copy of this email to anybody in my address book. And in doing so, it will also log an interaction. So by clicking send on that, it will actually create a pop-up window that says, hey, Dirk, do you want to log an interaction? I can say yes. And in doing so, it will log that we sent an email to the contact we sent it to and the date that we sent it to, and it will store that entire interaction so that anybody on the sales team or future employees will be able to see that that dialogue is taking place. So I guess to kind of summarize, very easy for your users to access this information in the device that makes the most sense to them. For some, it's going to be mobilely. some it's going to be on the browser, and some it's going to be inside of Microsoft Outlook. And those tools are available to all your users within a single licensing framework, so you're not buying multiple licenses and kind of getting nickel and diamond in your pricing. Oracle's gone to great lengths to provide a lot of ways to share that information with your users. And then Excellis can really help you identify the right JD integration touchpoints to make sure that your users have access to information that's important and relevant to them. And I know they've been very successful with that and have a strong history there. So with that, I'd like to turn the time back over to the Excellis team to finish out their part of the presentation, and we'll answer any questions that you have. Thanks for your time.
Perfect, Dirk. Thanks a lot. So we'll go ahead and field a couple questions right now, right after your piece here. There are about 7 or 8 questions people have asked. A couple of them are relating to the JDE piece that Ryan is about to talk, so he said he can answer those in his portion. First of all, the first question was the Lotus Notes. Does it integrate with Lotus Notes also?
So Lotus Notes is not technically supported by Oracle today. It's on our roadmap, but I couldn't commit to anything on that. But what is available today is there are some partners that have a Lotus Notes integration today, and they allow you to create a synchronization between your contacts, customers, opportunities within those emails and your address book and calendaring within Lotus Notes. So, for example, if an email came into Lotus Notes, you could easily tie that to, similarly to what we saw in Outlook, you could easily tie that to the right opportunity, the right contact, and the right customer. And the price point for that is really minimal, and the implementation is almost none. It's a Lotus Notes template that can be applied to your current Lotus Notes system and share that. So getting that up and running is hours worth of work as opposed to days worth of work. It's very simple.
Great. Thank you. Next one, you might have already answered this as well. It's can you link emails from mobile devices as well?
You can, and I sort of alluded to that at the end, but I maybe should have shown that better. So yes. So if, for example, you're on your iPhone and you're looking at a customer record or a contact record or opportunity record, and you want to send an email out to the team or to the contact, when you send that email with your mobile device, what will happen is you'll actually get a pop-up window that says, do you want to log this interaction with Oracle Sales Cloud? And if you say yes, then it will create a date and time stamp of the email that was sent, who it was sent to, the notes, etc.
Perfect. Excellent. Next question. Do you handle case management, such as complaint cases where you need to assign to a field visit and order parts?
So Oracle Service Cloud does that. And we didn't talk about that today, but Oracle does have complete suites of applications that do exactly that. Within the Oracle Sales Cloud, we have a tool set. We call them our application composers. And so if your requirements are pretty simple in that you want to log a ticket against the customer, identify who owns that ticket, the priority of that ticket, create an escalation or approval process with those tickets, tie them to specific products and things. We allow the tool set, or we provide you the tool set within the application to create that. And that's something I can show an example of. It's very common and easy to do. And I'd be happy in a kind of a one-off or maybe even in a future Excellis webinar series show how to do that within the application. So within the Oracle Sales Cloud, we don't do service, but we can create it for you once we identify your needs. Otherwise, Oracle does offer a Service Cloud, which has a complete tool set available to you to do very simple or very advanced case management type functionality.
Okay, great. This one might be a question for Ryan here next, but it's it says you mentioned syncing with JDE item master. Yes.
Sorry, it just broke up a little bit. If you could repeat that first part.
Yes. So it might be more of a JDE question, but and maybe Ryan will answer it. But it says you mentioned syncing with the JDE item master and product hierarchy. Does Fusion CRM support the JDE sales order product configurator?
That's a JDE question. I'll move it for Ryan.
Actually, Ryan just went ahead and said he'll take that one. So last two questions here. Can you create a social conversation center for customers? The thought is to have them to have forums on our devices.
So you might have to ask me that again because I'm not. So you want to
Sure.
have a.
Can you create a social conversation center for customers? Now it might. Well, I guess this one's more for customers rather than inside your company. The thoughts for them to have forums on their devices.
Oh, you said forums. Sorry,
Excuse me.
Sorry, I thought you said forums, and I was putting conversations and forums together, and it wasn't making sense. Forums. So we allow you to create conversations within your organization inside of Oracle Social Network. So as it is, it's you can work with your Oracle sales rep to get licensed for users across your organization. When it comes to actual customer conversations, we don't have that capability today. It is on our roadmap to expose those conversations outside of your enterprise, but that's not available today. Now there are Oracle tools that allow you to do that, but just not exactly within the Sales Cloud. We also do, for some customers that already have a kind of a customer portal in place, we do have integration into several social collaboration tools that allow those customer conversations outside of your enterprise.
Perfect. And Dirk, last question for you. Can you view your field team's schedules to help you balance workload for field visits that have defined response times?
You can. There is calendar sharing, and so if as a rep or field agent, I'm looking at my team calendar, I can definitely see other appointments and kind of group calendars.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, Dirk, for that presentation. We'll go ahead and move on to the more JDE-focused part with Ryan Brewer. And I will take back the control here. Ryan, you there? Mike. Ryan, are you there?
Okay, it sounds like I just got unmuted. Is that correct? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, you're there.
Okay, great. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. Time is running out, and I want to make sure we hit everything. So I was going to quickly answer a couple of these questions. The first question that I saw up here was, what versions of JDE do you support? And we support them all. We spent a lot of time over the last 5-6 years trying to find a methodology that really worked well for all versions of JDE. Originally we had worked through middleware, Oracle's middleware, third-party middleware, and they just didn't have the features and the functionality that we needed. So we came in with a new approach where we really simplified everything down to what's going to give us the best functionality and really what's going to work across all platforms. So if you're looking at the screen right now, this is kind of our integration model. We really base it around F55 tables, and really those are our temp tables. You'll see on the screen that there's two sides to it. You've got your JDE side, all of the blue. On red, you've got all of the CRM data. And in the middle, you've got all of the F55 tables. The reason we went with this methodology, it really allows us and your company to have kind of the best of breed resources working on it. So in a typical implementation, we're going to use your JDE resources. If you don't have a JDE resource, that's fine. We have JDE resources also that are available. But we have found out that your JDE resources and developers are the best that know your data and your system. So we want to use them. We're going to utilize them to work on kind of the blue to the green. They're going to work inside of your system. They're going to, if we need to bring over the customer master, they're going to create the little bit of code there to populate the F55 tables. From that point, we then use our developers who are going to be creating the code that's going to take the data from the F55 tables and then using web services, put that into Fusion CRM. When we use this approach, it gives us full flexibility inside your system and inside of Fusion. I've seen a couple of questions that relate around what can we integrate. We can integrate everything, and not just saying that as a one-pat answer. It really is up to what your needs are. For instance, typically, if you want to go to the next slide, Seth. So here's some common JDE to Fusion CRM integrations. Typically we're going to see from JDE to CRM address book, your customer master, sales order history, your product master, price scheduling. If we're going to be doing advanced pricing, credit history, financials. There's a lot of times it's nice to see what customers are doing. If they're 30, 60, 90, how much money do they owe? All the financial information we bring on over and inventory. On the flip side, from CRM to JDE, sales orders. We've built tools that actually reside inside of CRM that can then they can create a sales order right inside of CRM, and that can be pushed directly into JDE. It then hits all the right tables inside of JDE, and use a true sales order fashion without having to actually go into JDE. In some cases, we'll bring back customer master. Sometimes you want to have some information, maybe a prospect account that's inside of CRM, and then that needs to get into JDE without going through a complex process, and we can bring that data straight across from CRM. So that's kind of the real quick overview of what we do as far as the different integrations. We typically sit down with you and try to find out what's going to be most important to view inside of CRM as opposed to being inside of JDE, and then we'll bring that across. And then we do like to find out what's important from CRM to go into JDE, like sales order, eliminating that dual place for data entry, having to be in CRM and then have to go to JDE for a sales order entry. We can eliminate that process. Just looking through a couple of the questions here, making sure I answer this. You mentioned syncing with JDE item master and product hierarchy. Does Fusion CRM support the JDE sales order product configurator? So it does, and in the sense that we can have all that data inside of CRM, and then we can push that data into your F55 tables, and then your business functions, your big business rules, and the configurator can pull that data directly and then create that sales order. Looking through here, I answered the order history or the what versions. Looking through, there was a question about what fields and how do you enable the different pieces inside of CRM to access it, and that's actually fairly simple. So if, for instance, let's just talk an account master. If we're working at the customer master, your address book, we can define what you want to bring over. It might be the company name, the phone number, the address, and maybe they have ship to information. In addition to bill to information, we just identify where those map to inside of CRM, and if those fields don't exist, it's very simple for us to create, for instance, an address book number on an account screen. We would create that account number field, and then we create that mapping, and now you can bring any data that's inside of JDE, and we can put that and tie it to any of the objects inside of Fusion CRM. So let's go back one more slide, and I'll just kind of finish up my piece here. I know it was quick, so if there are any questions, please feel free to pop them up, and I'll be answering those. But as you look inside of here, you'll notice that all of the data is still going to be, all of the code is going to be inside of your firewall. So even our code that we create is going to be inside of your firewall. It keeps everything secure. All the data that gets transferred between the JDE systems and Fusion CRM is going to be encrypted. And what it allows for us to do is to maintain your security policy, since we will actually have the code that we write will be hosted on your servers. And if you look at this, you can really just kind of expand in your mind, what you can integrate from one place to the other. And like I said before, we like to use your resources if they're available to do the development side on JDE, since they know it's best. And then we can handle everything else from the F55 tables over to Fusion CRM. Let's see. Are there any additional questions, Seth?
At this time, there have been no other questions come through.
Okay, well, if there's no additional questions, I know I went through that really quickly. It's really simple. It works really well. It's very robust. When you guys move from one version to the next, or you add in a tool set, the way we've created this methodology eliminates any of the issues that typically arise when you guys go through upgrades. On our side, nothing changes. Since we're going to be pulling the same data, as long as that same data is presented to us, we don't have to change a lick of code. We've had instances where we've gone through 1 to 2 upgrades, and our code hasn't changed a bit. On their side, they just have to revalidate that the right data is coming over to the F55 tables. And as long as the data is presented correctly, there is no huge hiccups during upgrades or new tools releases. So with that, I will turn that back over to Seth. If there are any questions, love to answer them. But I believe there's just a couple more items we need to hit.
Perfect. Thanks, Ryan. And yes, there are no more questions as of yet. We'd like to go ahead and take a few minutes to hear from Diane Doherty, who is with Quest International User Group. She's a current Fusion CRM user, and we'll hear from her now. Dan, you there? Diane.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Quest International Users Group is actually a user group some of you may have heard of, because we are Oracle's official independent user group for JD Edwards and PeopleSoft. So when we went looking for a CRM system, we were looking at both functionality and a lot of other qualities. So we looked at the robustness of what they were putting into this on the roadmap, as well as the cost, and compared it against Microsoft and a couple of other systems, and then ended up choosing this one. And we went through the same process to pick Excelsis as our implementation partner. We looked at their extensive background with Oracle and on-demand and other things, and went ahead and contracted with them to help us implement it. We are actually integrating with a product called NetForum, which is a association management software. So this is not something that they had ever worked with, but they were great in working with our IT tech team to integrate to our table so that we would have, we chose not to do real time. We're doing sync up every 15 minutes from data entered from each system, updating each other. So, and that's worked really well. I know we felt like at times that the CRM, because we started this process back in January when it was fairly much newer, and we see that for our own purposes, we're really waiting for the version 1.8, just simply because we are so contact-centric as opposed to org-centric. Most of our users are individual subscribers or members, and so we track information on an individual basis as opposed to corporate basis in most cases. So, but we've worked with Excelsis to develop the integration. It's working perfectly, and now they're working on the Outlook integration with us so that our sales teams can make notes as far as conversations they've had, things they've promised people to send, and things like that. I'm trying to think. We also have started a Fusion CRM special interest group on our site that anybody, whether they're a member or not of Quest, can join. And that one of the great things that we have with our relationship with Oracle is even though we're independent, they don't support us in any way, they also see us as a voice for the membership, so for their users. So we have an enhancement tool built into our site that we can, as groups, add enhancements to the Oracle website, vote on it to rank it, and it gives enhancement requests and fix requests more credence when it's if one company says we think this is a good idea or this needs to be fixed, okay, but if 50 companies are saying this needs to be fixed, it gives more credence and helps prioritize for Oracle what really they should be emphasizing on their production and development side. So anyway, I can only say great things about Excellis. They've just been very easy to work with, and there's been a couple of times where there is still what they call a Severity 1 bug in CRM right now with the integration that Oracle's not been able to fix or at least get us a patch to. But Robert was able to, the developer there at Excellis, was able to actually create a workaround that Oracle couldn't give us to keep us moving forward with the project. So, like I said, they've been excellent to work with. Does anyone have any questions or?
Yes, thanks, Diane. This is Seth here again. I'm going to go ahead and take it back and see if there are any questions for Diane or Ryan or Dirk along the whole line, if there's anything that has not been answered yet. I'll watch here for any questions to maybe come through. Otherwise, have some contact info there that you can reach out and ask specific questions or more information if you'd like. Again, we thank you for joining us today. Hope it was informative and you're able to glean some information from this. Again, reach out to us if you have questions, and we'll have this video posted here shortly that you can refer to and forward on as well. So again, we thank you for attending and have a great day.